that bad of a deal. We'll take it. And then we had one of the most ugly, ugliest endings we've ever seen. Draymond Green, a highly intelligent player, but he does have a short temper, and those two technicals there at the end of the game set it up for Terry Rozier to break the Warriors' hearts. And we thought last night was the worst loss of the year. I don't even know where to put this one, but you didn't have Steph Curry. Just a wild ending. Come in studio. Welcome to Warriors PostGame Live. We're not going back to halftime. PostGame Live presented by Toyota. Greg Papa, Chris Mullen, Darrell Wright. All right, Mal, let's just go to the ending here and what happened with Draymond Green after the jump ball situation. Would get a quick technical. We'd see Mike Brown or somebody, the get-back coach, come out and try to grab him. They just couldn't get to him in time. I mean, for a player of his basketball acumen, if he does have one weakness in his game, it's the short fuse, Darrell. Yeah, to take back-to-back technicals in that situation, inexcusable.
Yeah, because this team, they just fought so hard to get back into this game. You know, shorthanded right before the game, they learned their best player, their leader, isn't playing tonight. So you give yourself an opportunity to win a game, and you just got to be able to, you know, keep your composure in that situation. I know it's the heat of the game, heat of the moment, but being a leader and a veteran and a champion, you got to understand to control yourself a little bit better in those type of situations.
You know, just the emotional roller coaster last 48 hours. Last night they got down 17, had a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter, and wound up putting that, losing that game. It was good that they got right back on the court, right, back to back. But then right before the game, they learned Steph Curry is ill; he can't play. They got to a tough start. They had a 15-point second quarter, but rebounded and had control after that Oubre three. Yeah, pretty much had control of the game. Draymond has to control himself in those situations.
And Draymond played well. He made a big three. He had the big tip in to give you a 10-point lead. And I don't know. I've never seen, you guys have been watching a lot of NBA basketball. I've never seen an ending quite like this. So we'll bring in a guy who's been watching a lot of ball as well. Monty Poole joins us courtesy of the My Team's Inside the Paint. So how do you explain what we saw at the end of the game? How do the Warriors lose this game? And how do you explain what Draymond Green did, Monty?
Draymond, you love his fire, you love his passion, you love what he's able to do for this team. Obviously, tonight, he made a mistake you can't make. A veteran player, a smart player, and he would be, I would think he would be the first person to tell you that he did something tonight that was pretty stupid, and that's just not who Draymond is. We always kid him about being the guy who may come close to costing himself a game because of all the technicals that pile up over the course.
In the game, the official would say, get back, and then they'd back away the rest of the game. Well, we've seen from Draymond Green that first technical does not deter him. He keeps coming, and a lot of times he asks for the second one, Monty, and we used to see Mike Brown physically walk on the court to try to grab him here. The one technical was bad enough to compound it and keep going and allow them to make 2 free throws to tie the game. It's just an unbelievable ending.
Yeah, the Hornets tried to give the Warriors the game with all their turnovers. I mean, if you go into this game thinking you're not going to have Steph Curry, you're thinking you're probably going to lose the game. The way they played in the first quarter was awful. And they came back. They showed a lot of heart, a lot of resilience. And they had a nice lead in the fourth quarter, and they gave it all back. Similar to last night. I think last night was worse because you had Steph. Tonight you don't have Steph, so it's not as bad. But you're right there at the very end. And basically, Draymond commits a mistake, and that's what cost the team a chance to win a game that they could have won.
Yeah, it was a really odd start to the game. We didn't know if he cramped up in his legs because he was kind of stretching himself out. But Dr. Rick Celebrini did tell Raymond Ritter that Steph told him he's just not feeling well. And in years past, when you hear that term, you think it's no big deal. Maybe he ate something and he's sick, but we're living in a...
So I would think that at some point in the next few minutes or hour or so, there will be some clarification as to exactly the reason why Stephen Curry was pulled off the floor at the late scratch.
All right, Monty Poole, thank you so much for your time. Monty Poole joining us on Toyota Warriors Post-Game Live. Let's just take one more look at the ending here. And, we've seen some of the great players in the history of the NBA make mistakes at the end of a game. Magic Johnson made one that dribbled out the clock in a finals game. But Draymond is such a smart player, Mully. Gets the jump situation here. And you thought he may have fouled going down to the ground, Gordon Hayward. Here.
It was a scramble play, right? And I think what they call a jump ball again?
Jump ball. He gave them the timeout. He thought it was a jump ball. He could have been called for a foul. He was mad they gave Borrego the timeout, and that's where he got the double text.
And look, Draymond Green is one of the best decision makers, one of the high IQ basketball players in the league and on the Warriors. And a lot of those decisions are score and time. That's what you do. You're always aware of the score time and what type of shot you need in that particular possession. In this particular possession, the last thing you can do is give free points to the opponent with the clock stopped, and that's exactly what happened. So Draymond being a leader, you have to take full accountability and move on.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Mully, on that. You just got to be a little bit smarter in that situation. The only thing that beats you right now is 2 points. And, you know, to get 2 technical fouls right there and give the opportunity for one of their best players to make 2 free throws and then you see eventually making a game winner, that all fueled that, you know, getting those 2 free throws.
And not having Draymond, you know, to guard, but to be clear, his back-to-back technicals did not directly cost you the game. It cost you the tie. But then Terry Rozier, Darrell, had to rise up and make a heck of a shot to win the game.
No, he made a great shot. I'm not going to take anything away from him. Juan was right there. JTA was right there playing some good defense on him. He got a late contest. He didn't want to foul, so he was being smart in that aspect, but he still got off a great shot.
But you said it. That shot, we're sitting here watching overtime.
Yeah.
If Scary Terry makes...
And you don't have Draymond, and you don't have Steph in the overtime, if you have to play overtime. So we certainly want to hear from Steve Kerr. First of all, the way the game started, we built the whole game up. Steph Curry coming back home to play in Charlotte. And then as they're going out to jump the ball up to open the game, Steve has to go to Mark Davis, the official, and say, I got to change my lineup here because we don't have Steph Curry. So we'll hear from Steve on exactly what is going on with Steph Curry. Right now, all we know, not quite feeling well. And then how do you explain the ending? And what time with a chance to get their first 3-game winning streak of the year and go a season-high 4 games over 500, a crushing loss. We thought the worst of the year until tonight happened. And now they have lost 2 in a row, and they are just 1 game over 500. We will hear from Steve Kerr. But when Draymond Green, Darrell, tipped that ball into the basket to make it 91-81, there was 4:44 to play in the game. So last night you blew a 13-point lead in 8 minutes. Tonight you don't have Steph, but still you blew a 10-point lead tonight in 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go out. The Oubre 3 in the corner, we really thought that was the dagger, and then, you know, Draymond tip in. So to lose a game like that is pretty tough and pretty tough to explain, you know. And also, they had 24 turnovers. You put yourself in great position to win a basketball game. You got to close games out like that, especially a team that's been off for so long. And I think it was more rust than anything. But you have to win that basketball game, and, you know, up that much with that much time left, you got to close it out.
Similar to last night's game, they played well enough to win, but the end of game execution came back to bite them. And it's discouraging because as you see those standings, these are all wins that later on in the season are going to come back. I don't think they'll keep them out of the playoffs so much. I think between, 7 and 10, you got that playing. I think they'll wind up there anyway. But from a team standpoint, you got great contributions from Wanamaker, Pascal, and Lee off the bench, and the win was right there. It was in your hands. And last night I thought the Magic won the game. I really did. Tonight, I think the Warriors lost the game.
I think Steve Kerr will agree with you. He felt that Orlando made some big-time shots coming down the stretch last night. The Warriors maybe had too many one-pass or no-pass possessions, but tonight...
From 3 for 36 points. He hit that end of the first half-court heave. I was confused because when I saw the scramble, right, and the players went down, Hayward had the ball, I thought they may have called a foul. That's why I thought Draymond was upset, because they were going to go to the line and tie it. I thought it was fortunate that it was a timeout. Yes, Charlotte gets to call a play, but also the Warriors get to set their defense. So he lost control. There's no way around it. You know, that game was the Warriors. That was their game. They played well enough to win. Without Steph Curry, they got great contribution from the bench, and it's unfortunate because like I said, I thought last night, the Magic won that game, and I thought tonight the Warriors won the game and they gave it to Charlotte.
What's hard about it, Darrell?
It's hard.
So many Warriors rose up. Eric Pascal was playing a great game. Kelly Oubre Jr. continues to be the guy.
Yes.
He had 25 points again tonight. They started slow in the first quarter. They were kind of numb. They only scored 15 points in the first quarter, but once they settled in, and it was an ugly game the whole night, But, man, they worked hard and came up with some big winning plays. It looked like, and Kelly Oubre Jr. and Wiggins was big time tonight. You know, 5 guys scored.
Kind of crazy to me. It's just a tough way to go out and lose a game.
Another really good performance by Kelly Oubre Jr. Well balanced. You know, he made his threes. He was attacking the paint, played good defense, had some nice rebounds. Made a huge 3. That was about 1 second on the shot clock. Deep corner 3. When that went down, we felt they were in total control of the game. And then they lost it, literally.
They were in control of the game until they weren't anymore. So Oubre Jr. leads the Warriors with 25. Andrew Wiggins had 19 points. Then you had 3 players, Mully, in double figures off the bench. Eric Paschall had a tremendous game. Damian Lee gave you 14. And Brad Wanamaker, who does more, you can't quantify his game necessarily.
He played off of guys, and he was at the end of the play. Here, he's initiating the play. So his stats, as you said, Pop, they don't indicate the impact he has on the game.
Yeah, I would say this is his best game thus far this season. He was out there, he was aggressive, he got to the basket. He missed a few chippies out there, but it didn't let him, put his head down or anything like that. So I thought he had a great game. Hopefully he can build off of this and continue to get better and better, because I know Brad Wanamaker is a way better player than what he's been showing so far this season. So hopefully this was that jumpstart game to get him going and make him feel a lot more comfortable. So hopefully this is the one he can build off of.
And then Damian Lee stepped up big time. You know, he had a nice game, 5 of 8, 3 of 6 from 3, 14 points. So the bench did their job. Pretty much top to bottom, everyone did their job till Draymond lost his cool.
When Steph, went out right before the game started, we thought, how are they going to win tonight minus Steph Curry? Well, for a while, they were like, well, how are we going to win without Steph? They had a 15-point first quarter, but as the game kept going, they played much better in the second quarter, scored 32, and then they just outworked them. And then the end happened. So we will hear from Steve Kerr on what happened to Steph Curry before the game and what happened to Draymond Green at the end of the game. That's next on Toyota Warriors Post Game Live.